anyone who's been Grand Knight or past favorite navigator, know what it's like to be. And this is just honoring and rewarding. And so here's that. And of course, there's part of it of the hat. And you know, it was talking money, so it's cheaper getting the package. And but the ribbon, I know you have one, but second, and then pins for your jacket and patches for your jacket. Wow, thank you so much. I know I have a hard time with folk session and pro session. I know in my brain to process, but somehow.
Yeah, you guys got a lot of gear going there and everything. Joe, this is Irish Mechanics.
Oh, hi, Joe Cardone.
Faithful Navigator. I like it. That's a great title.
We're working on Facebook.
We'll get the guest speaker for the film.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you. Look forward to your presentation.
It's the Wrestling with John podcast.
Oh,
Starting up the production. Yeah, a couple other podcasts. Social media platform too.
oh, for it.
Yeah. But you get somebody you don't know your yeah. Some of the episodes have been like 12 hours to put together on the new podcast. So you guys see their own seasons.
It's great. It's great. And it's amazing how it goes up and down the steps, right?
Yeah. Well, and the way he does this too.
My mic is on.
A couple, 3 hours. Even in the
And sometimes he'll make his point 3 times.
yeah.
One, twice.
Or he gets so enthusiastic, he'll misspeak, he'll say the opposite of what he wants.
You left them to close.
Or he's so passionate, so excited about anything he's talking about. Just gets all fired up. Well, I don't want to stay away from your navigation.
Get something to eat.
I didn't know you
Well, that's right. All right, and there's sparkling water right
just started. Oh, you started. You're the
well, this guy's coming in. Some after work. Take him away.
Like in real life.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Joe.
So we're gonna go probably as usual. On the itinerary.
Day. No, it's no. It's like afternoon.
send it out to the officers, say, this is what I'd like to do next month. And we can kind of roll it out next month. It sounds like a great plan. And then hopefully I'll have pictures and I'll slide show.
Save her. Do I have to save her? I have to save that Commodore. Do I have to?
Gentlemen, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Tonight, we're about to open this meeting in the fourth session. Let our faithful officers assume their respective stations, and faithful in the sentinel and outer sentinel take their posts. We have one or two here tonight. Faithful pilot, will you now advise me and make known if all present are in possession of the proper membership card?
Faithful navigator, your order has been obeyed. I report none but faithful knights present, and all are possessed of the current membership card.
Let our faithful controller call the roll of our faithful officers.
Faithful navigator Joe Cardona.
Here,
Faithful captain Dick Jacobson.
present,
Faithful purser Paul Edwards.
present,
Faithful stay Joe Whites.
excused,
Inner sentinel Mel Phelps.
present,
Trustee 1 year Wade Nelson.
present,
Trustee 3 year John Howard.
present,
Hello. Hello.
Faithful controller Robert Lee.
present,
Faithful admiral Chuck Wabera.
present,
Faithful pilot.
More please go again.
present.
Faithful friar Father Vitalis.
Why?
Faithful sentinel James Public.
Absent,
Trustee 2 year Tom Cooks.
absent,
Absent or
Yeah,
You just want someone to come and go over.
Color Corps Commander Joe Cardona.
present,
faithful pilot, what is the principle of the fourth degree?
patriotism,
Faithful captain, what is our duty to our country?
Esme!
Lawful authority to uphold and maintain those whose duty it is to administer the law, to defend and preserve unspotted and unstained the flag of our country.
You might be asleep.
Faithful admiral, what are the duties we have as faithful knights of our honored order?
To maintain unity, to practice the virtues of charity and brotherly love, to exemplify in all relations with our fellow man the sublime teaching of Holy Mother Church.
And so it is tonight A filthy Christ begots loyalty to our country and the faithful practice of our holy religion, begots good citizen and the patriot. The Sir Knights stand.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sir Knights, let us now sign up. No, moving on with that. Sir Knights, before entering upon our deliberation, let us acknowledge our dependence upon Almighty God and call upon faithful friar to invoke his blessing by repeating out loud the Lord's Prayer. You stand on kneel.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Where you
Holy
going?
Spirit. Our Father,
Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Wow.
Okay, be seated.
We're all
I
friends.
now declare this assembly regularly open for the transaction of business. And as such, the reading of last month's minutes.
First, faithful navigator, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes and accept them as written.
Yes, please.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So it is,
Best friends.
meeting minutes will stand as they are. Bills and communications. I got no correspondence, but I did have a conversation with our district master, Dave Ellington, this past Friday afternoon. He was seeking basic information regarding the faithful navigators in the state. In addition to that, he was informing me about
Best friends.
Spanish fourth degree exemplification at St. Mary's. Right now, it's looking like it will be.
Best friends.
Hello.
The problem is that he's still getting his presenters together, and the exemplification will be primarily in Spanish. So he was asking for our assembly, our color corps, to provide for honor guards to do the posting and the retiring of the colors. And so I thought that would be no problem. But he may also be looking for a district marshal, and although you can't see through the phone, I could feel his eyes on me, so I may be doing that. Right now, the exemplification started at 3 p.m., dinner at 5, and a mass, probably Spanish, would be at 7 p.m. on that day.
Best.
And he acknowledged that it would be a long home run, but our honor guard would come in, post colors, retire the colors, and then if they wanted to stay, then they were welcome to do that. District Master Dave stated that we were the largest and most active assembly in the state, particularly color corps. He went through what he thought color corps were at Twin Falls was 4, Sacred Heart maybe up to 4, St. Mark's about the same or less, St. Paul's, Napa, It was hard to say. And I know Our Lady of the Rosary, that there's one color corps member there, so. He thought that simply, if they didn't have the new regalia, no color corps, and so that's what it kind of boiled down to. And as we said in the past, primarily, and we have other color corps members from other assemblies that do join us, and they're like a part of us, so. But we're primarily it for the Church of Valley, and so we service as much as we can. He asked about, and this becomes important, about Assembly's financial audit. I already submitted ours before the due date of 1 August. But what's interesting on the bottom of the form, it doesn't tell you how to send it or to all the people that it needs to go to, and he acknowledged that. But why I bring your attention to this part of our discussion is because when we were looking at the budget and that we're looking for contributions from the other assemblies and supporting the VA state home, I'm not going to assume that we're going to cover all the costs, but we may be looking at if there's a possibility. If the other assemblies are currently rebuilding, that we may try to do a little bit more, but we can't cover it all for the entire year for the VA home. So, with that said, the report of the Faithful Navigator. First thing is, I just want to let you know that on 22 July, Faithful Captain Dick Jacobson and I met for an hour and a half. It was really convenient on the 22nd because I was able to snag him to set up for the blood drive that was the following morning. But we went over his duties and looking at what we hoped for the next 2 years. And what I'd like to tell you, I started his orientation for his next step, hopefully that day. You know, he has a copy of everything that I have. And so there will be that continuity. District Deputy Corey and I had spoken, and I've always admired him. He will forego his usual announcements or briefings that we usually have in the assembly because time is always working against us. And so since his announcements will be in the council, and many of you will be in the council meeting, then we'll hear the valuable things he has to say. State Worthy Advocate Ken Reed mentioned that at the last meeting that our Knights need to have a safe environment or be safe environment trained. The thing that's really important about that is that, you know, there's disparity. There's things you could do at home, but there's not things you can do on public property. And so what I'm getting at, I'll use an example, the security ministry, we all became safe environment trained because at any moment we could be with a St. Ignatius student, and part of our security is protecting and guiding the St. Ignatius students when they come from the school to the church. So we had to be. So arrangements could be made, and again, it's up to you all. But arrangements could be made that during this time, we modify the meeting and get safe environment training. And it would behoove all of us, because there are events and activities that we are with children and we're using the facilities. And so, and maybe close contact, helping the children with different activities. So I will leave that for down the road, that I really support his state initiative to promote safe environment training. One thing I wanted to go into and just cover very lightly was what floats your boat. I talked about it last meeting, and I sent the letter out. And I just want you all to know that you do what you enjoy, and you only do what you can do. Family is always first. And I feel bad with my Cutler Corps members, and we'll talk about the number of taskings we have. But I don't expect all my Cutler Corps members to make every function, every event. I do not. And they're so gracious that they apologize. And I certainly appreciate that. But the thing is that you do what you can, and you pick what you like to do. If I use tonight Tom Sorby as an example, he's a terrific organizer. He loves to cook, and his thing is that he can put on a terrific meal. The other thing he happens to do is look at the foundation over at St. Ignatius. He's got a skill set for that. So for me personally, I expect no more, and I'm so grateful for the great jobs he does in those two roles, and probably others that I don't know, like family camp. So I just don't want you to think I misspeak. I don't want you all to feel like you have to do all the activities that we would like this assembly to go after. Do what floats your boat, what you're passionate about, and when you have the time to do it. Because family comes first. Your welfare comes first. And so that's that. Okay. Moving along, the report of the comptroller.
At present, we have 124 members. We have 2 transfers that will process before next month. John Betts, John's not, John's here. You want to say a few words by yourself?
Oh, good. John, transferred from Northern California, refugee, and I was a dentist for 40 years in Walnut Creek.
Oh,
And I retired, and I'm a composer of music and a songwriter, and I love this area. And, I mean, I'm so impressed with my group for the nights and the parish and everything, and the town and the people. I can't believe I'm actually here instead of California. California is the opposite of what we're having here. And I really thank you for the welcome.
well, welcome.
We also have Benjamin Elton. Ben's here tonight.
I too came from Sacramento, California, but I am a retired dentist. And I don't know what that means, but
That
anyway,
means we have to talk like
I came
this.
here in December and just so happy to be here, trying to get involved in some of the ministries, and just thank you for accepting us in, and I love it here.
Welcome, welcome.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Report of faithful person.
Faithful Navigator. This month we started with $4,272.45 in working capital, with a Chalice reserve of $3,000. So our total starting was $7,272.45. We have deposits, fundraising portion from the council, $1,226, and cash for a name badge for $11. Butter deposits up to $1,200.37, and cash checks. We had one to Joe Cardona for the past week, from last week, black for 179, 197.79. Puts our ending bank balance, put us at $7,074.66. One outstanding check. The last faithful get Navigator truck for $593.60.
Thank you for your report. Report of the Color Corps commander. We have 6 obligations, a request for Color Corps support this month alone. And that's only up to 20 August. I just briefly mentioned them. We have 8th of August, Sir Knight John Burns. His funeral will be here at Holy Apostles. And if you remember, John Burns, he was the Rock of Honor, and he was so passionate about it. If I just stopped for a moment, I could see him in the front row just promoting the Rock of Honor. So anyway, he passed, and we're having a funeral mass for him. We're double booked on the 8th of August. Funeral mass for Brother John in the morning, and then in the evening, Deacon Francis Hess. There'll be a viewing at Summers Funeral Home, and so not a rosary, but just a viewing. So we've never done that before, but Color Corps will just stand there by him and just show respect for the 2 hours, that's 5 to 7. And then on the 9th, we will have Deacon Hess's actual rosary and funeral mass, and that'll be at St. Mary's, and that will start at 10:30 for the rosary itself. And then on the 13th, as I mentioned before, the Spanish 4th degree exemplification. We will, Color Corps will show up at 2. The exemplification will start at 3, but that's tentative. I don't know as of right now if that's a for sure thing, but I emailed Color Corps and those in the council leadership to let them know what's going on. On the 16th, we have 4 harnesses, so we're going to practice walking with the flags in the harnesses. We have Lady Guadalupe, usually at St. John Cathedral, and then we usually have the procession. A pro-life march. It's usually in January, and that's about 1.5 miles. And walking with a flag like this is that easy, much better with a harness. So we're going to practice, and it may seem not so complicated to you, but there'll be the 4 that'll be carrying the flags, but then the other Color Corps support and what's their positioning and timing with those that are doing that. So
what time on the 16th?
Time on the 16th, that'll be 9 o'clock, 9 to 11. Okay. Thank you for asking. Okay, and that's it. We always could use more in the Color Corps, as you can see, with the funerals and other obligations that come with no notice. And each member willingly spends 4 to 5 hours for each event, if not more. So that's it for that. Okay, report of committees. Anything from the VA?
The VA is opened up again. They were open and then they closed and then they were open again. So the 3rd Thursday in August, we're going to have a bingo, and all are welcome to join us. just get in touch with me after the meeting and we can organize maybe a ride share down to the VA. And I can talk about what happens during the bingo games during that time. There is also supposed to be ice cream social sometime in August. And as always, the information we have is a little sketchy. We don't know yet when this is going to happen because all the other assemblies in the valley will have to contribute some amount of money so we can buy the ice cream. And we're expecting maybe 8 to 10 2.5 gallon barrels of ice cream. So we have a lot of people down there. That's all we have.
Thank you, man, for your report. While you're standing, did you want to talk about the September hockey exhibition game?
Really, you know something? I don't have any specifics on that.
Right.
I know there would be something that would be very interesting. It would be something very interesting for us to attend as a group, and obviously council invited. I have no idea when. I think it's going to be in the beginning of October. But as far as I know, I don't know what the cost is. It's probably going to be more than $15 for the game. It is an exhibition game, and I think it's one of the last exhibition games before the season actually starts. The teams that we're going to be watching are Las Vegas, the Golden Knights, and Arizona Coyotes. Thank you. You said that. Oh. Thank you. Yeah. So if you've been to the Steelheads game, you're really going to appreciate these guys because they're very, very quick and skilled.
Thank you. I was looking for a heads up so we know what to look forward to come September, October, whatever. Thanks for that. All right, reading of applications. There's none. Membership committee. Welfare committee.
Nothing to report.
Okay. And balloting, they have nothing at this time. And report of trustees.
Nothing to report.
All right, thank you. All right, so that moves us into unfinished business. And with that, the proposed fraternal year 2022 to 2023 assembly budget. We're tabling that to our next meeting, which is 12 September. I just have to verify that with the front office because there's Labor Day. The facilities won't be available to us. So, but to let you know that we're meeting with Council Assembly leadership on 10 August to talk about the Assembly contribution with that. Okay. So that'll stay open. Mass in the Park, I'm heading that up, the lead coordinator for that. And what I'd like you to do is, if you're going to be at that Mass, it's going to be at Settlers Park. The Mass actually starts at 10 o'clock, but people will start arriving, parishioners, with supplies, ice, water, cookies, potato chips, and so on. And so we'll need help to bring those items to the main pavilion where we'll serve the food. We expect 1,200 parishioners. And so that's one thing. Also, we'll need help with older parishioners that are mobility challenged and walking on the grass. It's a little tricky, but we have a senior canopy of tent for them. So they're all in one place, so it's easy to monitor. And we have a first aid station close by just in case. We're hoping it's a somewhat of a cooler day. What I will need is the posting of our 7 American flags. And that'll happen just before Mass starts, and so I'll look to Color Corps and anyone that would like to participate. Use a military term, military uniform today would be polo shirt, just to show that Knights of Columbus is out there helping and participating in that outdoor mass. One of the ideas is that having that mass out at Settlers Park is that we indirectly evangelize to the community, because they can hear our music, they can hear our mass, and they can see that we're people who love people and being together and having that. Okay. Fundraiser, flags and poles. We're gonna table that for the discussion for March, April 2023. And what we're looking at is Memorial Day and Flag Day. Looking at current 4th degree assembly meeting agenda. What I am struggling with, and I do a number of announcements during the social hour. It's supposed to be for you to socialize. And I don't mean to interrupt that conversations that are going on. But time is against us when I want to facilitate that I'm not talking at you, but we're having a discussion. But when I have to look constantly at the clock, we're looking at how can we tailor some of the ceremonial things that we do. We'll study that and then present it to you all to try to save out of an hour, try to save more time where we can actually talk to one another. That if you have something to say, I don't want you to feel like you're you can't get up and say something, or if you do, I'm going to put a clock on you. Now, usually, if you got something important to say, you should be able to say it in 3 minutes. And if it's really, really important for our recorder, that scribe, it's not a secretary, it's not a stenographer. And so if it's really, really important, the point you're trying to make, what you want to get across to everyone, then have a narrative, and then you can pass it to him after you do your speech. So this way, when he's listening, so Joe Wax is listening to what we're saying right now, so that he can type up the minutes for this meeting. It's most helpful, like what I have laid out, what I've said, I'll pass to him. So as he's listening, if there's something he didn't get, he's got it on paper. So that being said, so I got some things in the works. It's presented to the leadership. Then we're going to present it to you, and we're going to have a discussion on how we can keep this assembly's meeting still ritually sound, but at the same time, we're going to have value-added conversations that we need to have between us. And I'll present that in September. So if there's no added comments regarding what I presented about unfinished business, and move to new business. And the marketing of our assembly, so I'm going to ask Brother Jerry to tell us about just a little synopsis of your article, marketing our assembly.
Okay, sorry, I came to first talk about flags, but I'll switch to
Okay, sorry.
marketing. Really quickly, I still have the sign-up sheets for flags because I need kind of an idea of how many would be interested in the flags. So they're on the table over here, and again, the flags would be $50, and 35 of that is the cost to get them here from Utah, and then it'd be $15 donation, which would go into our budget. But we kind of need an idea if we have to finish all the budget meetings before we determine if that is actually an acceptable fundraiser. On the articles, it's just a story from the state magazine on what we're doing as an assembly and the activities that we're doing and just getting the word out so more people know all the things that we do, all the volunteer hours we put in, and just going a little bit more with getting that information out. So that's what Joe is asking to work on.
Thank you, Jerry. And if you've seen the monthly newsletter, Safe newsletter, Jerry's done a number of articles in there. He's out there taking pictures, and all the activities that we do. So he's a really pretty good marketing agent for us. All right, I don't know, Deputy Corey, I don't know if you have an idea about the status of St. Mark's, St. John's, and Namba Assembly more than.
I don't have any more than what I already reported to you.
Yeah.
I was waiting to hear back from, John Pettinger is going to be our best contact for the St. Mark's Assembly of what their status is. I do know that they operate with the Risen Christ Council and the St. Mark's Council. So I know that they're at least active, but I don't know how active or what numbers they have for you. Right now with respect to the 2014, the NAMPA Assembly, their faithful navigator is reporting that they are not able to commit to anything at this time. They are in a rebuilding phase, but more so than just trying to get more members. They're just trying to get their activities all lined out as well. So they can't be counted on right now for anything this fraternal year. With respect to the other one, the Cathedral Council, the Cathedral Assembly. I do know that they're at least active. They're at least interested in helping. I just think they're going to need some hand holding. I heard back from Attila, but he didn't have anything to really say. He just needs some help getting organized. So I think if you can do some hand holding, you'll probably get some results out of it.
Okay, thank you. And the reason why I had Brother Corey, I asked for his assistance in finding out how the other assemblies are, because I feel we have an obligation to help our other assemblies, to rebuild, or like with Color Corps, we travel to the other churches to do rosaries and funerals and what have you, and celebrations, if they're only about funerals. But if there's something that we can do, our assembly do, to help them, then I want to know how we can do that. Thank you again, Brother Corey.
Welcome.
All right, report of the third degree.
We have a guest speaker tonight, Irish McMahon. He's going to talk a little bit about his podcast and future endeavors. We also have a line item amendment to the budget that we're going to discuss. That's it.
Thank you. Good of the order. It may be unusual. Usually when you have an agenda item, we just say good of the order. I just wanted, this was really significant. I do Patriot Guard Riders. We get not very much notice of a veteran's funeral, and we'll do a flag line. It could be at their church of worship, it could be out in our facility. And then we then go to the gravesite and do a flag line telling that veteran. But what is unique about this one fellow Patriot Guard rider, it's Lieutenant Colonel retired Dave Padre Tish, is a former U.S. Army chaplain, and is the current VA chaplain. And he was on Highway 84, and traffic slowed down to a stop. He was on a Spider, Can-Am, and he slowed down. And we don't know what the other driver was doing, but obviously distracted by something. And full speed, 70 miles an hour, he crawled up his backside. And Padre ended up having to have part of his skull moved to prevent the brain from swelling and having the problems with that. Ended up with 10 fractured vertebrae. And his pelvis is like a lifesaver. It doesn't break in one spot. If it breaks in two spots. And so right now he's had, I think, at least 6 surgeries trying to get back. Just came off the ventilator. So a fellow patriot, a fellow clergyman, and I'd just like for us all to lift up prayers for his speedy recovery. He's still in a world of hurt and he needs our prayers. So for good of the order, anyone? Well, they need it.
Yeah, they can't do
Reba Letty, Tony's wife,
Yes,
she's not doing well at all. Emphysema, COPD, wasted away in one of the building. It's kind of sad. That's why he didn't come back up here this year. They just can't make the trip. She can't travel. They just hunker down there for as long as it takes. So
so prayers for Reba. Anyone else? Any prayers for?
I stand to ask for prayers for Sir Knight Eddie Johnson. Debbie Johnson came up to me after the 5 o'clock mass, and Eddie's been suffering from, they don't quite know all of what's going on, but they're thinking it was some sort of reaction to one of his shots that he got as part of COVID. He's a chef over at the VA. He's actually greeted us a few times when we've done the caroling at the VA. And Eddie actually hasn't worked since January. He's on some sort of disability now, but he needs a lot of prayer because we cannot figure out exactly what is going on. As you all know with COVID, sometimes it's a dice roll about what you're going to get with that disease. So Eddie and his wife Debbie and their family could really use our prayers.
Any others? Okay. Tonight, is there any other business to come before the assembly? If there is none, we shall proceed to the close of the meeting. Faithful pilot, what are the emblems of this degree?
If navigator, the flag, the sword, and the cross.
So knights, these glory symbols testify patriotism, liberty, and liberty and faith, and the heavenly sent attributes of our Christian citizenship. Faithful pilot, what is it you say for the flag?
The flag of our country. We love it and shall ever defend it.
Okay. Faithful admiral, what do you say for the sword?
let us keep it bright for liberty's sake.
Faithful captain, what do you say for the cross?
This is the cross of Christ. The exponent of Christian ideals, the conqueror of death, the giver of life. Supreme reverence for this sacred symbol will crown our country queen in the statehood of nations. It is the bulwark of national honor, the inspiration of patriotism, the guardian of personal worth, for it was crimsoned with blood of self-sacrifice.
Thank you. Tonight's undying allegiance to the cross of Christ and to Christ victor upon earth. Father Emmanuel, would you mind leading us in prayer? Stan O'Neill.
We'll say the prayer. This is Michael, the architect. So Michael, the architect.
Yes, May God rebuke and heavenly knows by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all the other evil spirits who prowl about the world, seeking the ruinous souls. Amen.
The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
The Almighty God bless you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Please do.
Thank you, Father. Okay, so tonight, I declare this assembly duly closed until our next appointed meeting. Thank you for being here tonight.